Hello everyone and welcome to another Bachata Rockstar Hearthstone video. And this right here is the top 20 cards that are going to be most missed with the next standard rotation. So, basically what I did, there are 3 sets that are rotating out. Blackrock Mountain, the League of Explorers, and the Grand Tournament. And so I took my top 7 cards that I thought were going to be missed the most by me, and I put them together in a list, and here it is. So, yes, I realize that 3 times 7 is 21, not 20. However, 2 of the cards I put together into one, making this a top 20 list. And we're gonna get started. Here we go. Grim Patron number 20. Why am I gonna miss this card so much? Well, I grew up in the era of the Patron Warrior, and that deck was insane. The crazy part is, though, is everybody was like, it was oppressive. The deck was so hard to beat. I'm like, not really. A lot of times people didn't play the deck right, and also a lot of times it would set up a board, but you could still beat it. You know, the hard part is that it was an OTK deck in that sense, and it was a combo deck. But, I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Worgen Warrior deck, which I thought was more oppressive. And I also thought it had a very high skill cap. You know, I thought that in order to play it well, you had to play well. And the deck got run over a lot. And so, it wasn't as oppressive as people thought, but I thought the deck was really fun. And the combos that you could pull off with that deck were amazing. And I hate to say it, you know, now that Grim Patron doesn't have that ability, this card just frankly isn't really that good. And while it can be a nice part of a kind of an interesting Patron Control Warrior deck, and I've still seen a little bit of them floating around, it's not really being seen anymore. It's a little too slow, frankly, given the current meta. But I love the card. I loved the deck. And it's very nostalgic for me. Grim Patron, number 20. You will be missed. Moving on, we got Thunder Bluff Valiant. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. Not a fan of the Shaman. And you know why I'm not a fan of the Shaman? This guy right here! Thunder Bluff Valiant. This card has annoyed the crap out of me for a long time. Because it buffs it makes all the totems a thing now. Like, so many times you play Shaman and you're like, okay, I'll just ignore the totems and I'll just have to deal with their 4-mana 7/7s and, you know, their Rockbiter weapons and their Doom Hammers and stuff like that. And then this guy plops down and it's like, great. All the totems I neglected to kill are now, like, a thing. They're now buffed and it's crazy and I want to die. This guy for a long time. He doesn't really see a lot of play anymore, but he was the engine that made mid-range Shaman so ridiculous. You know, he enabled totem decks. He made totem decks a thing. He enabled really ridiculous totem synergy. And this is the guy, once he was made, it utilized Inspire mechanics, so it's from the Grand Tournament. And once he came out, like, Shaman started gaining respectability. Because for a while there, Shamans were kind of looked at as, I don't know, a very sub-tier class. The overload mechanic was kind of hard to understand. People didn't really like playing with it. They didn't like losing their mana. They didn't feel like the benefits they got out of it were actually good. So Thunderbluff Valiant was the first one to really utilize the Shaman hero power in a way that was actually beneficial. So, nice card. Bane of my existence for so long. You will be missed. Thunderbluff Valiant, number 19. See you later. Moving on, we got at 18, number 18, Twilight Wealth. Oh, God. Dragon Priest, you're finally a thing, Dragon Priest. And then they're going to take this card and just get rid of it. And now you have no early game. Like, Dragon Priest had early game, finally. Like, here's something to do. Here's a zombie chow with no drawback. Like, mind-blowing. You know, the 3 health traded into 2 health minions really well. You could heal it up. It'd stick around. You could buff it with Powered Shield. Great card. Awesome card. Auto-include in any Dragon Priest deck that you would make. And now that it's gone, I don't know how viable Dragon Priest is going to be, because the reason that deck wins is because it tempos the fuck out. And this card is a huge part of it. With this card and Northshire Cleric, Priest finally had 4 legitimate 1-drops that they could just play on turn 1 and feel good about it. And, like, get tempo and actually be on board. And this enables Dragon Priest to actually do something really well and do something potentially better than other decks and hence have an edge. At the time, Dragon Priest was just kind of a tempo deck, and there were other decks that tempoed better, i.e. Tempo Warrior was a lot better, Tempo Paladin, Midrange Paladin at the time was a lot better, and Twilight Wealth enabled that and enabled a new deck archetype. And so, Twilight Wealth, 18, you will be missed. Moving on, I got Unearthed Raptor at number 17. This card hasn't actually had a whole lot of impact, but the effect is so cool. I'm using it in a Jade Road deck right now that's actually working really well. It enabled N'Zoth Rogue for a while, and, you could play this with Sylvanas and steal 2 creatures. Just this effect is so cool. And I'm really, really sad to see it go. And it's a 3-mana 3/4 body. It's awesome. It's nice for, you can tempo play it too. The card is so versatile, and I'm actually surprised it didn't see as much play as it has seen. But I think the impact is great. I think the effect is great. I think it was one of the hidden gems of the League of Explorers. And Unearthed Raptor, man. Love that card. I think it's really cool. Number 17, you will be missed. Moving on. Refreshment Vendor at number 16. Why is this card on here? It seems silly, right? Well, guess what? Refreshment Vendor was a card that could actually provide additional healing to classes that did not have it. Now, at the time when Refreshment Vendor came out, Anti-Healbot was still in the meta. And so Anti-Healbot was typically the one that was used instead of Refreshment Vendor. But once Anti-Healbot got rotated out, Refreshment Vendor became the go-to healing card. You see it in Reno Lock, you see it in Reno Mage, you see it in Reno Priest even, but you see it in Rogue. You even saw it in Paladin, even though Paladin has access to a lot of healing. The ability to just heal yourself, get double heals. Oh, you even saw it in Priest that ran Holy Champion, and because this thing heals 2 things, and so that would give +4 attack to your Holy Champion. There were OTK decks that this card created. So it's a simple card, but it had so many uses, surprisingly so many uses. And it was one of those cards when it first came out, I was like, this card's not going to see play, nobody's going to play it. And you know what, it just keeps showing up in decks, and it's just nice big buff 3/5 body. I'm shocked at the versatility of this card, and this was a card that everybody was sleeping on. So, Refreshment Vendor, see you later, man. You will be missed at number 16. Coming in at number 15, Quick Shot. Alrighty. Quick Shot. Hunter card. Seems simple. 2 mana, deal 3 damage. No big deal, right? Nobody was really hurting for hunters to have extra damage. But this is the crazy part. At the time that this card came out, Glaivezuka was still around, Eaglehorn Bow was still around, and so, just having an extra 3 damage that you could direct anywhere, hunters had trouble pinging, they had trouble with removal, they were mostly about tempo and attacking face, and this card was so versatile because it allowed you to attack face, it allowed you to clear a minion. If your hand was empty, you could draw a card. I mean, there's so many memes where some guy goes quick shot into kill command and wins the game, and Hunter, the people are like, oh, Hunter, and let's face it, Hunters kind of suck right now, at least in this meta. And losing quick shot is going to hurt them immensely. So, rip Hunter, man. So, Quick Shot, number 15, you will be missed. Moving on, anything can happen. So, anything can happen. Why is this card going to be missed so much? Well, anything can happen enabled Burlocks. Murloc Paladin, OTK Murloc Paladin was a thing, and it was an awesome thing. It was a fun thing. And there's so many videos online where somebody plays Anyfin and another guy plays Anyfin, and every Murloc gets buffed, and I'm doing 50 damage out of nowhere, and it's like, wow. But people didn't really complain about this deck as they complained about something like the Worgen Warrior or the Patron Warrior, because this card costs 10 mana. So you have to draw it, you have to have 10 mana, then you have to have enough Murlocs die, then you have to play it and hope you draw the right Murlocs, and then... So, you know, to me, this is fair. It's a big effect, it's a huge effect, but it's a fair effect. And I think when they designed this card, they knew it was going to be used as an OTK card, and it turns out it was. And even now, even in this meta, as we head into the new expansion, head into the Journey of Ungoro, anything can happen. Paladin is still a thing. It's not a good thing, but it's still a thing. So, number 14. Anything can happen. You will be missed. Worm Rest Agent. So, why is this card so good? Obviously, it enabled Dragon Priest to be a thing. This card and Twilight Wealth gave Dragon Priest the 1-2 punch, metaphorically and literally 1-2 punch of Dragon Whelp, a 2-3 body on 1, into Worm Rest Agent, a 2-4 body with taunt on 2. It protects your face, it protects you against aggro decks, it allows you to get your stuff set up. This combos so well with Cabal Talon Priest, giving you a 2-7 with taunt. I mean, just great card, wonderful card, almost always got activated. It made Dragon Priest a thing, and Dragon Priest could not be a thing without this card. So, losing... Dragon Priest's time in the sun is going to be gone soon, and that is sad to me because I do think it's a really neat deck and a neat deck archetype. And, this card enabled that. So, Worm Rest Agent, number 13, you will be missed. Moving on, we got Twilight Guardian. Oh, man. Not only was this card good in Dragon Priest, it was good in many Dragon decks. Dragon Mage, Dragon Paladin, Dragon Warlock, even Dragon Rogue. I mean, like every single deck that could make a Dragon deck, you put in Twilight Guardian. It was an auto-include in your Dragon decks. 4 mana, 3/6 taunt. I mean, just so good. So versatile. Big body. It is a 5 mana body for 4 mana. It provides you with taunt. It protects your face. It trades, it eats small minions, 2 and 3 cost minions with its 3 attack. And the 6 health was such a big break point because so many things could deal 5 damage. 5 mana 5/5s couldn't get through this with one swing. And it's a 4 mana card. Crazy. Insane. Such a good card. Twilight Guardian at 12. You will be missed. So versatile. So sad to see something so used and so young. Number 11, Justicar True Heart. It didn't see quite as much play as I thought it was going to, but this card has enabled Control Warrior since its inception. Just being able to 4 armor is insane. Control Priest used this a lot and being able to heal up. There was even a version of a Totem Shaman that used this, so you could constantly spawn Taunt Totems or constantly spawn Spell Damage Totems. Who else used this? Oh, Paladins use this a lot to get 2 dudes. That was really, really strong. Just being able to spawn 2/1/1s for 2 mana. I mean, you were overwhelm control decks eventually. And there's just no way they can deal with your stuff enough times. So, Justicar True Heart, amazing card, really, really good card. And I'm sad to see it go because it did enable. I like the idea of hero power interaction, and Justicar True Heart enabled that to the fullest. So. Sad to see it go. Justicar True Heart at 11. You will be missed. Number 10, Blackwing Corruptor. This is the best non-dragon card. It's not actually a dragon. Technically, it's not a dragon. But it might as well be. I mean, just 5 mana, 5/4, deal 3 damage. You know? Instant card advantage. Play this guy, kill something on your opponent's side, get a body. Like, God, the dream, you know? It's like a buffed up SI7 agent that doesn't require a combo, it just requires a dragon. And auto include in every single goddamn dragon deck. This and Twilight Guardian had to be included in every dragon deck. And so, what can I say, man? Just a great card. Great utility card, good in every situation. You know, as long as you have a dragon, you love this card. But even dropping a 5 mana 5/4 isn't terrible. You know, really good card. Blackwing Corruptor at 10. You will be missed. Moving on, number 9, Sir Finley Murgleton. I love this guy. He's so cute. You're Finley. The awesome part about this card is it allowed classes to do other things than what they were originally doing. You know, if you wanted to make warriors more aggro, you could. You play Sir Finley, you get the Hunter hero power, you go nuts. Shamans would play this to try to get life tap. Or they would play it and try to get, like I said, either Hunter hero power or the Mage hero power and start pinging stuff off. Classes that didn't have access to pings could ping. Classes that didn't have access to card draw could draw. Classes that didn't have access to direct damage could get direct damage. Classes that wanted to actually spawn tokens and totems could do that with Finley. There was a token druid deck that ran Sir Finley that would try to get either totems or try to get the paladin hero power. So, you know, rogues could get a hero power that wasn't just the dagger. You know, they didn't have to use their face in order to do damage. You know, rogues could get the mage hero power and then save some health, or they could get the priest hero power and start healing up. You know, the applications of Sir Finley were awesome, and he has seen a ton of play, and just what a cool effect, you know, just like what a cool effect. Sir Finley at number 9, you will be missed. Number 8, Living Roots. Just being able to deal some direct damage, sometimes spawning 1/1s in a 1-mana card. It's so versatile. Combos with Fandral. Just I mean, like, the utility of this card, the versatility of this card, it blows my mind that how auto-include this card is. It's just like, okay, well, we're going to make a Druid deck, so what do we need? We need 2 Swipes, 2 Wraths, and 2 Living Roots, and 2 Innervates, and 2 Wild Growths. You know, like this card was such an auto-include. It might as well have been in the classic set. Like, with the way you think about building Druid decks, you would include Living Roots pretty much every time. It's so versatile. It does everything you could possibly want. And yeah, sad to see it go, man. Druids are going to have a lot more trouble dealing with minion boards that get built up. And I'll be honest, I think with this card leaving, a spell-based Druid deck is probably going to go by the wayside. And it's going to be very heavily minion and Druid focused, or minion and Jade focused from here on out. At 8, Living Roots, you will be missed. Moving on, number 7, Tomb Pillager. I love this card. This card's my jam. What I love about this card, it's a 4 mana 5/4, so very well statted, aggressively statted, and then when it dies, it adds a coin to your hand. So effectively, it costs 3 mana. But the nice part is that the coin is so versatile in Rogue. It enables miracle decks, it allows you to get ahead on mana on a future turn. You know, it's basically like a cheap ramp. And it's a spell, so it enabled Arcane Giants, it enabled Violet Teachers. I mean, just so good. So many applications. Getting that coin. You know, I distinctly remember people looked at this card and they were like, no big deal. It's cool. You know, I mean, I'll probably, maybe I'll put one of in my deck. And Kalento looked at this deck and goes, oh my god, this card is OP. And, like, he was the only one saying it. And I kept thinking, I was like, why, you know, Kalento's very intelligent. And so I kept thinking, like, why is this card such a good card? Is all you do is get a coin. And then you think about it more, and you think about the applications that getting a coin gets, especially in Rogue, is huge. It's just so huge. And being able to go off with Gadgetzan Auctioneer, being able to play it with Questing Adventurer, this card was a secret fuel for Miracle Rogue and for other rogue archetypes. And just getting a 5 attack body on turn 4 was big. You know, it was easily squeezed into a lot of things and a lot of decks. And I love Tomb Pillager, and I loved it in combination with the Unearthed Raptor and getting 2 coins and then Miracle Rogue in it and going nuts. You know, or like there's so many combos. And it enabled combos, right? You could play this, you can combo with SI7 Agent, you can combo with Shadow Pan Rider or whatever the fuck that card is. You know, it's like I said, just a really, really good, strong, versatile card. And oh man, it sucks to see you go, bro. Number 7, Tomb Pillager. You will be missed. These are hurting the higher I go. Number 6, IGB Imp Gang Boss. My dog. This card was so strong. It's literally included in every Warlock deck. And I'm not exaggerating there. You could hear the periods. Every Warlock deck. It's so weird to think that a deck just doesn't run Imp Gang Boss. Like, why would... It's the perfect 3-drop. It's a 2/4 that spawns 1/1s. It's sticky card. Even if you just deal all 4 damage to it immediately, it still gets you a 1/1. So at worst, it's a 2/4 that spawns a 1/1. So you're getting 3 mana for a 3/5. But at best, it could get you up to 4 additional 1/1s. Like, crazy good. Contests the early game. It's pretty good in the late game. You know, like, it's just such a good card. Such a good card on curve. And in Arena, it's ridiculous. And it's common, so you can get it a lot. Like, it's just such a good card. It's auto-include in Zoo, auto-include in Reno Lock. Awesome card, man. Just really one of the best cards. I remember when I finally got Black Rock Mountain and finally got Imp Gang Boss. Like, my win rate with Zoo Lock just went through the roof. Well, that card is really good. Imp Gang Boss at number 6. You will be missed, sir. Number 5, Flamewaker. Do I really need to talk about this card? I don't think he needs any introduction. He goes around to flames that are dying and wakes them up. No. What he does is after you cast a spell, you deal 2 random damage split among all enemies. I mean, just such value in a 2/4 statted body. So the 4 health was always so relevant because, you know, on turn 3... oftentimes you were only playing it up against 3 attack minions, and so a lot of times it would just live. It was a nice drop just directly on 3, but a lot of times you'd save it till about turn 5 when you could play it and a couple of 1-mana spells. This combined with Arcane Missiles gives you 5 random pings. I mean, just insane. Flamewaker enables Tempo Mage to be a thing, and without it, I feel like Tempo Mage archetype is going to go by the wayside, and I'm sad to see it go because it has been a staple of Hearthstone forever. I mean, literally saw it win like 8 games in a row in the Trinity series, you know, today. So, insane card. Slotted into so many types of decks. You know, you include it in Reno Mage, you would include it in Tempo Mage, but even a Control Mage likes a Flamewaker, you know? Instead of using it to, like, deal face damage, you'd be using it to clear minions off. And it can still attack. You know, even if it never gets an attack off, it's a great card. So its versatility and its power were just amazing. So, Flamewaker at 5. You will be missed. Moving on, we've got the combination of Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem. These two guys gave Shamans the early game that they needed, and I'll talk about them specifically. I put them together because, to me, they are essentially a 1-2 punch combo. Tunnel Trog on 1, into Totem Golem on 2. Whenever you overload, gain +1 attack per locked mana crystal. So this is a 1-3 on 1, which becomes a 2-3 and a 3-4 body on 2. You get a 2-3 and a 3-4 on 2. How do you stop that? How do you deal with that? You can't. And these two cards, honestly, are why Aggro Shaman and Midrange Shaman have been so strong for so long. And I'll be honest, not the biggest fan of the Shaman, and so seeing these two cards go, makes my day. Makes me feel good. Happy to see you go. Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem. You'll be missed by other people, but not I. Bane of my existence, those two cards. I swear to God. Coming up, number 3, Brann Bronzebeard. Your battle cries trigger twice. Insane. Just insanely good card. Brann into Kazakus. Game over. Game over, man. You know? Just, there's so many good battle cries, and to have them trigger twice and get double the value is insane. And it's still a 3-mana 2/4, so it's well statted. It tends to live. You know, I'm just a crazy card. Even now, like in Dragon Priest, Brann into Cabal Talon Priest on turn 6 gives you a 2/10, a 2/10 Brann, and a 3/4 body. Like ridiculous! Like, that's never gonna die. Then, you know, you end up getting 4/6 Twilight Guardians. You end up drawing 2 cards with Azure Drake. I mean, it just blows my mind how good Brann Bronzebeard is. And, yeah, I mean, just the LOE was the best adventure by far. And Brann Bronzebeard was one of the reasons. So, at number 3, Brann Bronzebeard. You will be missed, sir. You will be missed. Number 2, Emperor Thoresen. I don't think I need to tell you why this card is good, but I'm going to do it anyway. If you had any sort of combo that required you to reduce the mana to get the combo below 10, Emperor Thoresen was your guy. And it's strange to think that, because originally Emperor Thoresen was being played as a value card. It was something where you drew a lot of cards and you play Emperor Thoresen, and then it was like, cool, I have all these cards, I have all these options, this is awesome. You know, so you'd play him for 6 mana, but you'd get a 1 mana reduction on 8 cards, and it was like you basically played him for free. And it was a reoccurring effect, so if you didn't deal with this guy with this body, like, you were pretty much fucked. You know, he might as well have Taunt. He might as well have Taunt. But he enabled Worgen Warrior, he enabled Reno, OTK Reno Lock, with the combo. They literally just call it the combo. You know, he enabled so many different OTK Leroy decks. He just enabled really good value in like Druid decks. I mean, he was basically an auto include in almost any deck. Like unless your deck was just completely aggro and you didn't have the time for him, Thoresen was in your deck. He was just a good card, a good body, a great play on 6, and buffed all your cards, and like insane. I mean, like, we will never see another card as good as we will never see another card like this, and I never see a card that will have this kind of impact. But he's only number 2, Emperor Thoresen. We'll see you later. Number 1, as surprise to no one, Reno Jackson. What are we going to be, fellas? We're going to be rich. That's right. Reno Jackson enabled the Reno deck. I mean, that's why he's number 1. The Reno deck. Just, I've made a deck now. And it's Reno something. Reno Luck. Reno Priest. Reno Mage. That's it. He just this one card created an archetype, 9, 10, 20 different archetypes just by this one card. And what I thought was the neatest part about this deck is you had to have no duplicates. And so that, when it came out, nobody had really thought of that. Every deck was a 2 of. You know, and so in a weird way, it limited what kind of decks you could create, because you felt obligated to put in these 2 really powerful cards because you could. So Reno Jackson actually opened up 15 additional deck slots in your deck, and because he restored you to full health, like, the effect was powerful enough to justify you creating a deck that had no duplicates in it. And, you know, they've taken it further, and they've created Kazakus now, and they've created Inkmaster Solia, and Cruel the Unshackled, and Raza the Chained. And I think that's fantastic. I think it's a really cool deck building idea, just to have 1-ofs in every deck. And so Reno Jackson fostered that and created that, and so he's number one, and it was a pretty easy choice. When I was putting this list together, I was like, okay, well, Reno's number one. Where's everybody else go? So Reno Jackson, number one. Sir, you will be missed. You will be missed. You get one more. So that's the list, guys. Hey, did I get your favorite cards on there? I hope I did. Remember, these cards are my own personal choices, so, there's a lot of honorable mentions out there that didn't make it in, that I considered for this, that are leaving, and so I'm definitely sad to see him go, but gotta admit, I thought this list was pretty comprehensive, mostly because of the impact of the cards that came out, and how many of these cards I realized I would just assume that I would have, and that I would get to play. So many of these cards, you would create a specific kind of deck that you wanted to build, and you'd be like, well, I gotta put that in there, or I gotta put this in there, or I gotta put that in there. If I wanted a dragon deck, I gotta put blackwing corruptor in there. If I wanted to build any sort of road deck, 2 tomb pillagers are going in. If I wanted to build a Reno deck, I need Reno Jackson. So these cards will definitely be missed, but hey, looking forward to the new expansion, and looking forward to some new ideas and new deck building. And thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Keep learning, keep rocking, and the Raptor will see you around. Thank you guys for watching these videos. If you like them, you can subscribe here, and you can watch the most recent videos here, and some of the best videos right here. Thank you again, guys. Keep learning, keep rocking, and the Rockstar will see you later.